Welcome to Vegas Live with Ninon again. Yes, we are still filming. We're having a fabulous time. We're in our new studio, which is Quirky Minds Media. Absolutely amazing. And with everything's sort of working out. And it's funny how when you have to take one step to another step, and you get apprehensive as to what's going to happen. Well, it's all worked out extremely well. I have a very good friend of mine with me as a guest today, Elissa Lafranconi.
Sì, very good. Lafranconi.
Lafranconi. It's an Italian name. I was actually married to an Italian. And I don't know if any of you remember, but if you do, and if you don't, Mojan used to be on my show, and we had the fashion corner. And she used to bring all these fabulous clothes and Gucci's and Hermes. And Hermes was her favorite, wasn't it?
The orange.
Elissa, how are you?
I'm very wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I want to find out what's going on with Mojan. She's now down in
Florida.
In Florida.
Yes, she's in Naples.
Naples in Florida. Yeah. I think we're all jealous, but they do get the winds down there, and they get the humidity down there. The
crocodiles.
The crocodiles.
None have been spotted.
And the mosquitoes. So apart from all that, I wish her well. Yes. No, I miss her terribly because I used to have lunch with her.
I know.
On all that stuff.
She visits soon.
Yes, and we had high teas with her. The beautiful
That's where we met.
I know we met her. The first high tea was at the Mandarin Hotel, Mandarin Hotel, and then we went to another little place here.
For her farewell party.
That was her farewell tea party.
And we had the hats. And
we all wear the hats. And I don't think I had a hat on that day.
No, that day you didn't. The first day you did.
First day I obliged. I was very good. So what are you doing now? And you are actually trying to build up your own career. We were just talking about you getting married, Elissa. And you said, well, she's not going to get married yet, because she needs to sort of get her career going.
Yes.
So I don't know if it should be in reverse, or whether she should get married and her husband should help her with her career.
He's already very supportive, so I feel like...
Oh, that's good. So you're not ready, you're gaining things.
Correct.
What are you going into?
So I'm a mental health therapist. I also have a background in philosophy, so I created a company called Etica Logica, and our...
Etica Logica.
Yeah.
That's a difficult name to pronounce.
It is.
Why? Because
it should make you think.
Well, normally when you put a name out there, it should be a catchy name that people can remember it as.
Exactly.
So they have to remember this then. Well, the brain has to work.
Yeah. Well, we call it Etica for short.
Etica, yes.
But Etica Logica breaks down to the Greek ethos and logos.
Oh.
So ethos is a thing's nature. It's nature, right?
So you're going back to the nature and
philosophy,
which actually happens to be back to marijuana, which people don't seem to quite understand. Marijuana in Chinese was one of the greatest medical histories in the world. And people have forgotten that, and they've now got all this high thing going on and what have you. But so is any of that in your, you have a line yet, or what do you do?
Of the marijuana?
Yes.
Oh, no, that's not something I've explored.
You haven't explored that putting... So what exactly? Do you give therapy, or do you have a line of therapy?
So I work with me and my clinical director, Stephanie Henshin, and we work with one-on-one therapy. We also do a lot of education. We're also in a school. We're going to be starting...
Oh, so you do more of education than you do with creams and everything else?
No, mental health therapy.
Mental health therapy.
Yeah, no marijuana.
No. Well, there's a lot of people that need this, actually, out there. Yeah. I could be one of them, too.
Therapy. We talk about it as a self-growth, though. It's not, there's nothing wrong, and you're not something to be fixed. We're trying to help you evolve and grow as a person.
So try to evolve and grow as a person, not in height, but in mental attitude.
And in spirit, too.
In spirit as well. So what is your direct line into that? Because I hear a lot of these people that do that. And so, I sort of, what do you exactly give them?
Sure. So I come from what's called an existential perspective. So it's a very humanistic. We treat the whole person, and we understand their culture, their environment, their childhood, their beliefs, and how they make meaning of life. And that's how we help to understand where the problems are coming from.
So now, I've often thought that you have your thought and your way of life. So you have kind of learned how to use what you have, which is your thoughts and your ways, and putting it into somebody else and helping them. But how can... I've often wondered this.
Yeah.
How can you, with your thoughts and your ways, interject that into them as of them now going to be like you?
Correct. That's why it's super important in therapy that you do a lot of investigating about the client's nature and how they view the world instead of how they should view the world. So it's never a should.
But there's still your idea of your thought when you've found everything out. It's still your thought
it's
of how
dependent.
you should change.
Yes, and we do a lot of work on trying to be as like unbiased and objective. We have to do a lot of self-work, so we have to notice like if it's causing a trigger in us, then we have to detach from that.
Now,
right?
how do you know it will cause a trigger in you? Would you start acting like them?
No. We train for this. No.
Yeah.
We have an awareness, so we would get a feeling or an emotion. You would get a physical sensation to something being said because it would trigger a memory and an emotion.
An emotion.
Correct.
Now, a lot of people say that your first 5 years of your life is kind of the rest of your life, which to me is rather sad. Since you're only 5 years old, but it's obviously something very subconscious that goes. Is it? Is that what
we call it the unconscious programming, right? So what happens is all the beliefs and mindsets are instilled by your parents, by your school, by your religion. All the beliefs get programmed into the unconscious brain and experiences. So if you've had
again from the mothers and fathers' attitude of life, of how they know, they put that into the child.
Yes.
And then you come along.
and try to see which ones are not working and update it. It's like a software. We update the software.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. This is like a software for the young. Is it the younger generation you are helping?
Everyone.
Everyone. Mm-hmm. Who do you find? I want to use the word damaged. I don't know why it's damaged, but who has been damaged from 5 years? There's been all this stuff was put in them, and they've used it all because that's what's been put into them. And now you've got to correct them and tell them.
Yeah.
Is this more of the people with less money, or middle? Is it the lower class, or the middle class, or the rich?
That actually does not have such an easy spectrum. It's more about, for instance, a lot of parents use guilt to manipulate behavior. I can't believe you would do that to me. And so the child feels like they're not getting the parents' approval, which they so desperately want that validation. So then they change their behavior. They don't play that instrument because the mom doesn't like that instrument, or the dad. But
they keep playing it because they're aggravating the mother because that's what they want to do.
So guilt is a big manipulative tool that is done really unconsciously at first, but then when you pay attention, you can start to see how it's serving a purpose.
Funny you should bring that up, because often I see people are very rarely looking at the good they've done and how great they are. They're always looking at why did I do this, and will this work? And it's always a very negative. Why do people, we are all like that.
Sure. The brain has we'll call it a 2/3 majority of a negative bias. So if it will always remember negative events at a little stronger rate than the positive ones because they're survival, right? So you need to avoid them in the future because they cause you pain and suffering.
Yes.
Whereas the positive ones, you survived, it's easy. Why do we have to remember
you survive
that?
it, throw it away, and we don't. Because I always think often that people, we should be more on the other side.
I know.
We should be more creating of, how good did I do that, and how great was that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and let's do it again, and let's even make it better than what I did last time, rather than going on the attitude, which brings people down. I mean, that makes you depressed.
That's right.
Is that how people get sort of depressed? They feel like they're no good in this world?
Yeah, it's their thoughts. It's those faulty softwares. They haven't been, there's bugs in them, right? There's viruses.
Well, we've definitely got viruses. After this epidemic, COVID-19, we've definitely got viruses and all that crazy stuff, more than we think we've got. Because I just found out they've got 2 more people in America that have this African one. There's
the variant.
They've got 2. They found 2 more people,
right.
And now they just also came out with everything's going great, and we've only got so many people who died, and all this, that, and the other. So that was a bit of a disappointment. But it popped up, and now you want to know, if we haven't been traveling, we haven't been anywhere, how on earth did it get here?
Yeah.
So did it get here? And I don't know, maybe it got through coffee beans or something.
Somehow, right? We're so interconnected now these days with shipping and
that's
technology.
What it has to be shipping or something like, I would think,
Travel.
I don't know, somebody handled something and something touched that.
Or a symptomatic person, right?
I don't know. So are you happy? Have you qualified for everything you've had to learn? Because this must take quite some time to learn.
Yes, I'm constantly still learning. I'm constantly in a training right now. I'm updating my software and my skills. So I do monthly trainings myself to keep up with different insights and different tools and interventions to help clients.
So now that you have this boyfriend, you should have a boyfriend for 4 years. So you've kind of sorted him out, I would imagine. You probably know him you know him better than he knows himself.
Yes, and vice versa. I feel like he definitely can
And,
predict
is he
me.
in the same business as
No,
you?
no. He does private security.
Oh, private security
Yeah.
on you.
Yeah, but he's keeping surveillance.
Keep surveillance on you. So you feel that with what you've learned, has this made you into a better person of looking inside of you?
Absolutely.
What should someone look for, just as an everyday person, of trying to improve themselves in a positive way, or in a way that they sort of, what can I do today to sort of make me or make my life better?
Yeah.
What's the most common thing you come across?
I call it watch the voice in your head. Is it a critical negative voice? And ask yourself, the thoughts that you're thinking, would you talk that way to your friend? And if the answer is no, it must be because you're maybe bullying yourself, or you're being very harsh and critical, and you wouldn't tell your friend that, right? So I really recommend you to watch the voice in your head.
So watch the voice in your head and keep it positive, not negative.
Yeah, try to find the lesson in the struggle instead of just seeing the struggle as defeating you, right? So
Yes.
what is this trying to teach me? Why didn't this go my way? What is the lesson here meant
That's
for me?
funny. I often think that when something goes wrong, which it does periodically in my
Yes,
life every
it's
day,
inevitable.
It's
It's
inevitable. It happens every day. And you often say to yourself, well, why did I do that way? Why I should have done it
Correct.
this way.
You're learning.
Or you're learning. So that's
That's a growth mindset.
so that's a lesson for everybody out there, that sort of, you look at what you did wrong, because obviously that's where we're going, and try to say, well, let's correct that and not do that the same way.
Yes.
But also acknowledge it,
Yes. Accept it.
accept it.
Because people's lack of accountability by not looking at it is what causes a lot of those distractions. Like we turn to alcohol, food, addictions to distract ourselves from looking at that, because sometimes that feels like a shame or embarrassment, that mistake.
Well, I think we always don't want to be ashamed. We
No,
don't want to
that's
be
a hard
embarrassed.
feeling.
We don't want to be embarrassed either.
Right.
So sort of, try to get all those negative things out. So it boils down to admit the good and the bad.
Absolutely.
In other words, if you've done, like today, I arrived late on the set. I thought I was supposed to be here at 1:00. It was 2:00. I know
right.
exactly why it happened. I know exactly why. But I'm going to take the blame.
Of course.
Because
Accountability.
I'm going to accountability, because I was supposed to be here and
Yes.
I was not. But I didn't think I had to check. But that it worked out okay, as it so happens. But for me, it wasn't okay, because why wasn't I paying attention to something, or why did I listen to that person when I should have gone and checked it myself?
There you go. That taught you.
That taught me a good
Exactly.
lesson. Yes, so,
Yeah.
I'm not usually I check things out, but because this is sort of going on for a long time. So it's being accountable actually to yourself.
It's always to yourself.
It's
Because you're the one.
the only person.
You're the observer of everything.
Owns the body.
Yes. Yeah, you're responsible.
You're responsible for your
Yeah.
body. So what would you advise teenagers, a lot of them, and I don't know if you deal with teenagers, I would probably say from probably 13, 14, maybe younger, probably to about 16, 17, they have this gap that they feel they're not good enough, or they feel, a lot of them feel, and we've got a lot of kids that, want to commit suicide, and also some that do. Why do they feel that way? Is it because of the home, or?
Yeah, and again, that could be situational too. We don't know how the family, if there's any dysfunction in the family. But social media is also a big issue sometimes, because
Really?
social media, only people choose to show only one side of themselves, right? So people think that other people live this way and they look this way, and I don't have that, and right.
Yes.
So it doesn't show that.
So you're comparing yourself to somebody else, but they're only putting out there the good side of them, because they're not going to put the bad side out.
And they don't put like what it takes to get there, right? Especially teens that their brain right now is firing at instant gratification. There's an increase in risk taking the way their brain chemistry is.
Oh, really?
They see that image and they think that, wow, they only did that. They wake up and they look like that. They don't understand, like, they have to eat healthy and work out to have a certain body image.
Listen to this, teenagers out there, because I got your back.
Yeah.
I have the teenagers back, because I think teenagers are amazing.
I know.
Especially
A lot
this
of
day and
potential.
age. This day and age with the computers and everything they do now, electronics and everything they do, just amazing. And I look at them and I look at when I was their age. But then when I was their age, I had something different.
Of course, there's always a
So
struggle.
we always have something different. We always have something to do and something to. So when you go into you get a client and you sort of sit with them, do you research them before you get to see them, or do you?
Yeah, they fill out an intake form, so they fill out some general questions of different areas of their life, and then I read it over and I kind of ask them to explain in person a little bit more what they meant by the things that they wrote, and then we pick a goal. right? What's more important
What's
to you
the
right
most
now?
important for you that you want to sort out? Do they come to you to improve themselves or sort out some kind of dilemma? So do they always come to improve themselves, or do they just come just to sort of live a normal life?
Both, right? Depends.
Both.
Sometimes they have symptoms, right? They have anxiety, depression. They're not motivated.
How do people get anxiety?
Oh, they overthink, right? That's a big one.
I'm often, I know a lot of people, I'm stressed out. I look at I know what stressed out means, obviously.
Yeah.
I think, what can they be stressed out about? So, well, why do they, especially the young people, they get all stressed out and anxiety? Why?
They're
Are they under pressure with somebody or something?
well, it goes back to that principle of acceptance, right? They're not in the present moment and looking at what's here because they've had maybe negative experiences that they haven't processed through. They're trying to avoid it from happening again. So they're predicting what could happen instead of living it in the now.
Yeah.
They're thinking a little too forward, or they're worried about something that doesn't exist.
There's something, oh,
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
I say to people, they do this all the time. They worry, and they, what am I going to do about this? And it never happens.
And it never. Oh, yeah, there's the research
The
that
majority
4%.
of things that you worry about, guys out there,
Never.
guys and girls and everybody out there, it doesn't happen.
No.
We worry about things. I personally don't like to do that. I take it a little easier. Like, I'm what happened today, it happened. It's okay, it's fine. It's going to work out great. I'm sure I'm going to be forgiven.
Yeah.
Maybe yes.
And you let the past go as well, though.
It's gone.
Yeah.
What can I do about
can you
it?
do about it?
I'm driving and I'm thinking, I'm trying to hurry. I'm thinking, no, Ninon, you're going to get there when you get there.
Exactly.
Just don't go and get a ticket and make it 10 times worse.
That's real wisdom, though, right there. That's wisdom.
Is that
Because
wisdom?
It is.
So that's something they should know out there.
That's Ninon wisdom, we'll call it. We'll do wisdom nuggets.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just said, Ninon, just don't rush and you're going to get an accident. It'll be worse. Just relax and let it happen. And that's the same as out there. And I've done this and said this to many people. So don't worry about it. Don't get stressed about it. It's not going to make it any different.
Right. And
Well,
they're and because people a lot of times, right, they're bringing that fear, right? So there's a fear of failure. So instead
Have
of
fear again.
yeah, it's all imagined scenarios,
So
right?
what would you say to the majority, or to everybody out there, not to stress out?
Yes, they also have to identify where that root fear is coming from.
Oh,
Why
okay.
do they even have a fear of failure?
Why do you
And that
even have
stems
a
usually from childhood or negative past events.
Yes.
And that's what we help you do is pinpoint where that root is,
fear? Yes.
and then we give you the tools to
To sort it out.
Yes.
Now, with the pandemic and everything else, a lot of people have money problems.
Yes.
So we now have the stress with one definite thing, money.
Finance,
And a lot of
yeah.
people financially, even before the COVID-19,
Yeah.
How do they get themselves out of that money frightened situation?
Yeah, that we can also evolve, right? In the sense that maybe we have to look at different avenues instead of staying stuck. Well, what's new could I try?
What
right?
could I try here? Or how much
Newness.
money could I save there? Or rather than sort of getting all my wages and
Yes.
spending them on the weekend, why don't I save a little bit? Would that would take, because then
Yeah.
when I always think that when you've got a little bit of money behind you,
Yeah.
that takes kind of the stress away.
It does, because then you feel like you can live more because you have more choices. Money
Yes.
usually increases your variety of choices, right?
Yes, yeah,
And opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been a wonderful
Oh, yeah.
listening and finding out all about how we work.
I have a little something for you.
Oh.
This is just for have a little goodie bag, but this is one of those little tools we have. Actually, my boyfriend's sister, she makes these. They're mirror decals with
Oh, look at
positive
this.
affirmations to
Look
put
at-
on your
look what
mirror.
this says. Create your life. Well, I'm creating my life. I've got
That's right.
Vegas Live with Ninon. I got another show called Ninon Speaks, and then I've got
Oh.
another show, the next Rising Star. So we're doing a lot of stuff. Oh, isn't
And
this
then there's
sweet?
another beautiful silver heart in there to remind yourself self-love. You put it somewhere in your house, and every time you look
Oh,
at
I know
it,
exactly where it's going, because I have
Okay.
a little place where I have hearts. I
Yeah.
actually, I have hearts. Look,
Yeah,
there we
I
go.
gotcha.
I have hearts, and I also have angels. So let me look at the heart.
and so you have to make yourself one promise of self-love you're going to do.
Oh, look at this.
And every time you look at that heart, you try.
I
you
know
see
exactly
if
where
you've
it's going. 'Cause
committed.
I've got one that's in kind of made of a kind of a soap. I've got
Oh.
another one that's made of crystal soap. Oh, isn't that sweet? Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. My
Thank you very
pleasure.
much. Now, where can anybody reach you?
Yes, we have our website, www.eticalogica.com, or on Instagram, same at Eticalogica.
Well, she's been amazing. So don't think bad of yourself. Think
No.
good of yourself.
Find the strengths.
Find the strength.
That's right.
Makes yourself feel good. Thank you for watching Vegas
Thank
Live
you,
with
Ninon.
Ninon. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, Vegas Live with Ninon. We'll be right back with our next guest. Thank you. If you enjoyed the last show we just did and all the other shows, don't forget to subscribe Vegas Live with Ninon on YouTube. We've got plenty more coming up and our guests are amazing. So don't forget to subscribe. We'll be right back. Vegas Live with Ninon.